Good day, students. I trust that you are well. I have had a look at the recording that was placed on ECI regarding the lectures that were held on Tuesday, the 13th of April. And unfortunately, we experienced many technical difficulties on the day. And listening to that recording, I realized that the first half of the lecture has not been clear at all. So students, this little video is to actually go over Unit 1 to assist students who missed the lecture for one, and of course those that tried to listen and were unable to make sense of what was mentioned in the first part. I'm quickly going to share my screen with you. All right, students, so for this session, I'm going to quickly speak to you about the Unit 1 for ITP 100, the Introduction to Institutional Teaching Practice 100. Okay, so a warm welcome to all of you once again. We welcome you to the ITP 100 module, and we welcome you to your TPR 100 module. Now, had we been in a lecture venue right now, I would have asked you questions about your hope for 2021 for the two modules that I've just mentioned. However, since we are not in a venue, I will speak on behalf of the other lecturers to let you know that the hope of your lecturers this year is that you successfully complete this module. We hope that all students take heed of the advice that's given to you, and of course that you complete all your assessments for ITP 100 and TPR 100. I'm sure that a lot of students don't just want to get 50%, but you are aiming for your distinctions. So we hope this year, students, that you will adhere to all our advice, that you will take heed of instructions provided, and you will follow these instructions and ensure that you pace yourself and complete the module in the required time. Right, so a lot of queries come up from students because there's a confusion regarding the TPR 100 component and the ITP 100 component. And many students often say when they sit in the ITP 100 lectures, they're not sure whether they're being lectured on ITP 100 or TPR 100. So students, I want to stress to you first and foremost that these are separate modules. These two modules are completely separate modules. So that means you have to complete your ITP 100 with a minimum of 50%, and you have to complete your TPR 100 module with a minimum of 50%. But because these modules are linked, so that means the link between the two modules results in us as the lecturers speaking a lot about ITP and TPR in your lectures. So these lectures that are going to be taking place will be your institutional teaching practice 100. And you have set times allocated in your timetable. Here we cover the theory aspect of teaching. Everything that regards to what you need to know about teaching is discussed. We try to make it a practical component. We try to include you as students as much as possible, and we guide and we support you to ensure that you complete the theory part of the module. Now, we've got your ongoing weekly lectures. This does not mean that every student comes to campus for the weekly lectures. As per your timetable, you will notice that the higher certificate students are scheduled on one week, and the degree students are scheduled on the other week. Right, so as the timetable currently stands, you will follow the times that's allocated to you. TPR 100 is more the practical component, and although you don't have lectures throughout the year, we prepare you in your ITP 100 lectures, and we talk a lot about TPR 100 because you need, like I said, you need to understand the theory before you can actually put it into practice. So these two modules, although they are separate, they are both very, very closely linked, right? And students, this year, you'll be going to schools for your 15 days of teaching practice, in August and September. Of course, like I said, we don't have weekly lectures for TPR, but we do have 3 lectures that are held during your first year experience. And this is usually held in semester 1. So I have already mentioned a few of these points where we discussed that you are involved in activities, you learn to teach during your ITP 100 lectures. We always encourage our students to ask questions. If you are unsure about something, when in doubt, it's best to ask rather than to go ahead and do something that is incorrect. You also have the opportunity to share your experiences with each other. And, in usual cases, when we have our lectures with our groups, we get our students to share the experiences, and especially after the teaching practice, to come back and to tell us what they've experienced in the classroom. And we, as your lecturers, we will provide you with guidance, we will support you. We also share our ideas with you, but as students, you also share your experiences with us. And this could be from your teaching practice that you're going to do this year, or what you've encountered while you are currently at your schools during your teaching or your learning career, I would say, prior to embarking on this journey to now becoming a teacher. Right, and institutional teaching practice is also a practical module. We would like to think that it's fun, but it's also very, very motivational. And we try, as the lecturers, to motivate our students to excel, because the one thing that we stress on at Stadio is that we don't want you to become an ordinary teacher. When you leave this institution with your qualification, we want you to end up becoming a great teacher, a teacher that is worthy of being employed at a school. And schools receive many CVs at the beginning of each year. And we want you to be that student that stands out, and the school will want to employ you based on all that you've given in your studies. Right, so I've mentioned that your lecture periods are scheduled in your lecture period as per the timetable. Please refer to the timetable and ensure that you are in the correct venues. In semester 1, like I mentioned, you will have those 3 lectures as part of your first year experience for your TPR 100 module. And in semester 1, 2021, no first year student will be going for teaching practice at schools. In semester 2, we will continue with the lecture periods during your lecture week. The timetable will be adjusted to accommodate this, to ensure that the degree students go in the scheduled week and the higher certificate students will go in their scheduled week. For 2021, as per the directives received by the Department of Higher Education and Training, all first year students will spend 15 days of TP at a school. Right, the dates have already been discussed and appear on your screen, but I'm sure a lot of you have already made a note of your dates. The one thing I want to stress on for the higher certificate students is that you will notice that on the 11th of August, you go into the school just for that one day to do a day's observation, but you will then go back to the school on the 23rd of August. So please, students, please remember that. Once your placement is confirmed, we will communicate the dates with the schools as well. Right, the study material that you received from Stadio would have been a study letter. I always strongly recommend to students that you need to read your study letter more than once, understand what the module requirements are. This is a year-long module. You have lectures every alternate week. It's important for you to also understand what the learning outcomes and the assessment standards of the module are. Important to read that more than once. And of course, look at the different units that you are going to be taught this year. You will notice, for those of you that are actively involved on ECI, that I've already put up a program of work for you so that you know that in that particular week, these are the units that are going to be covered. So make sure that you are ready and prepared before the commencement of the lecture for that week. Then you've also received an assessment guide. right? So the assessment guide also tells you that it's a continuous assessment module. That's what CAS means. And of course, there are no exams for this module. However, there's 5 compulsory assessments or assignments, and we will cover these assignments now in the next slide as I discuss that. Your assessment guide for students is a document that's a comprehensive document talking about each of the assessments. Please get familiar with that and ensure that every single assessment is completed this year in order for you to pass this module at least. Right, so the formal assessments for this year, all of these make up the 100% that you will get for the module. So in assignment 1, that is an online quiz. It covers the units on the NCF and the CAPS documents, and this quiz is a 30-minute quiz. So students, please note that this quiz or assessment only contributes 10% of your final mark. And we often have a case where students achieve 100% for this assessment and they sort of get complacent and then disregard the other assessments thinking, oh, well, I've achieved 100% now. I don't need to work hard for the next few assessments. But remember, this is only 10%. You still need to get another 40% to pass the module. And all of the other assessments will enable you to achieve at least the 50% pass mark. Right, so with regards to assignment 1, it is a 30-minute quiz, and the quiz will be made available to students on one day. Now, we usually schedule this because of the fact that you could have connectivity issues. There could be load shedding on that day. And of course, each area has load shedding at a different time. So we need to take into account all of these factors and ensure that every student gets an opportunity to complete the quiz in that day. But please note that once you log on to begin the quiz, you have just 30 minutes to complete it, right? So please don't message us thereafter and say, I started the quiz, but then we had load shedding, because load shedding is usually announced and you are aware of the times. Before it begins, you ensure that you complete your quiz. In assignment 2, that is your handwriting assignment, and here you'll be making a weather chart, and this contributes 15% of your final mark. Students, please note that this assignment, as per the dates that have been provided to you, is going to be done at the end. So we've shuffled the assignments a bit to accommodate your teaching practice and the assignments that are needed to be completed before you can begin your teaching practice. Assignment 3, 4, and 5 are lesson plans, and they are recordings that you will do. So with regards to assignment 3, this will be a storytelling lesson plan, and you will be reading a story to the learners. In assignment 4, it's an outdoor lesson plan and a presentation, and assignment 5 is life skills lesson plan and presentation. Please take note of the allocation of the marks for each of these assignments, and make sure, students, that you are actually adhering to every single assignment and ensuring that you get your 50% per assignment. So students, I cannot stress enough how important these assessments are and how important it is for you to keep track of your marks for each of the assessments. We often have students that come to us at the end of the year and then they want to query marks when it's actually too late to attempt to submit an assignment or to actually query a mark for an assignment. Right, so like I mentioned to you, these are 5 assignments. If you do not obtain marks for these assignments, it can result in you failing the module itself. Right, so if you have any queries regarding your marks, you have 5 working days after the release of your marks in order to query your marks, right? And thereafter, unfortunately, students, I have to also stress that we will not be entertaining any excuses with regards to the queries of your assignment. So you need to really ensure that you adhere to the due dates, and these are communicated with you well in advance. If you have any other grievances, please remember that the first person you need to contact will be your lecturer. Try to email your query to the lecturer, and if your lecturer is unable to assist you for whatever reason, then of course you will communicate with me as the module coordinator. There are no textbooks for this module, students. So the requirements is that you need to have access to the NCF document, the correct CAPS documents, which should be downloaded. You will find those on the ECI page as well. There are no textbooks for either your ITP100 and your TPR100 module. So focus on these resources. Please don't focus on any textbooks that's not needed for this module this year. The stationery that you need to have for this module would be the usual pens that for writing, your cookies if you are making resources. You possibly need some crayons, glue, scissors, etc. But obviously, if there's other items required, we will be advising you. I have mentioned to you that you will be making a weather chart, so you will be needing a poster paper that is A3 or larger to make that chart. If you need to make an appointment with your lecturer, please note that you need to email your lecturer. Be professional in your emails. Please refrain from calling your lecturer and addressing them as hey, hi. Your lecturers are not your friends, and ensure that your emails are structured in a professional manner. You are professional or future professionals. You are in a professional environment currently, and we expect you to be sending us professional emails, right? We're quite strict about that as well. So if you want to set up an appointment, it has to be a time that is suitable for both you and your lecturer. Make sure that you are both present, and please do not be late. We often have cases where students are late. Please do not schedule appointments with your lecturers if you are already scheduled for another lecture in that time. And please do not miss out on a teaching practice day and schedule an appointment with your lecturer. Stick to your meeting times and the venue that's arranged. Now for this year, students, your meetings can be either face-to-face or you can have a Zoom meeting. Right, the lecturer details are on the screen. I'm not going to go over that because I've given that to you many times, but these are your lecturers, your respective lecturers that are available at the 3 campuses. Right, the other thing, students, is that there is a scheduler that's going to be on ECI, and as you are scheduling your lectures for your attendance at campus, please note that for ITP 100, the same will apply. So after the recess period, please ensure that you book to attend each of the campuses, and those students that actually want to attend and experience the face-to-face interaction with their lecturer, please use the scheduler and book prior to. You have 48 hours to book as per the scheduler. Right, students? Remember, we do have venue constraints. We are currently in COVID times, and it's extremely important for us to have the numbers of students that are attending so that we could cater accordingly. All right, so that's it with regards to your ITP 100 Unit 1. I hope that this session has been extremely beneficial to you. If you are unsure of anything, please email your respective lecturers. And of course, you're more than welcome to email me as well. Thank you.